Hey y'all, what's going on? This is your man Shabir Aleem, and welcome to a special episode of Daddy's Right Here Live. Hey, listen, man, 2019 been here. At 12:01 a.m., it officially becomes 2019, but 2019 been here, right? So it's time to get turned up. It's time to get the party started. Get that thing popping. At the end of the day, that's all it's about. It's about what you're going to do different. And you know what? A whole lot of us, I'm going to include myself in that, a whole lot of us, right, have written that list over and over and over again about things that we're going to commit to changing about our lives, right? And we still keep putting the same thing on the list. What is it about those things that we keep putting on the list that we're just not changing? What is it about them? What is it about them that we're just constantly holding on to the same stuff, the same old baggage over and over and over again? What is it, man? And we'll come up with all kind of rationalizations and justifications and suppositions and all that other stuff. But nothing changes, right? So we're doing some things different. I was looking at a post earlier today. I think it was posted by D.L. Hughley. And one of the things it talked about, and I can't tell you verbatim what it said, but one of the things it said in there is that, you have a like button, you have a delete button, you have a block option on your phone, on social media, on all these different platforms that you use to connect with people. But yet and still, it's not until the end of the year, December, where you start having a conversation about who you're going to purge your contact list of. And it ended with, but that button, that access, that capability has been there all along. So why haven't you been deleted, people? Why are you waiting until the end of the year? The end of the year to start cleaning out stuff. That's something you should be doing all year long. But for some reason, we don't do it that way. We wait to the end of the year. We start reminiscing about our failures, our mishaps, our stumbling blocks, right? Those barriers. We start complaining about them. We start talking about how I'm not doing this no more and I'm not doing that no more. But you had a choice all along. You had a choice all along. There was nothing stopping you but you. There was nothing in your way but you. Nothing. And we find all kind of reasons, man, to stay with the same old stuff and wonder why our lives are not improving. That's not on somebody else. That's not on your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mother, your father, your sister, the system. Nah, that's on you. I don't care where you are, if you're in the free world or if you're on the other side of the fence, right? It's entirely up to you to make a conscious decision to change. And you already know the things you need to change. You already know those things. They've been showing up for years. They've been part of your failures for years. And let me say this. No, there's nothing negative about failure. Failure is realizing what doesn't work. That's what failure means. Back to my point. You know it doesn't work. You know that already. You've heard the same thing from people all around you. You need to stop hanging with little boo-boo in the crew. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop doing that. You need to start doing this. And you need to start doing that. You hear it. You've heard it. You know it. This is not denial at this point. It's just plain old refusal. You're refusing to look at yourself. You're refusing to address the issues that you need to address to have a better life. You're refusing to do it. And you need to ask yourself why. One of the things that I decided that I wanted to do for tonight's show is I had a list last year, so I don't know if any of you watched my show last year, right? But you can go into my Shabir Aleem YouTube educational station and you can see last year as well. And it's important. It's important that at this point in time in your life that you take this for real. You take this for real. Because nobody else will. Don't expect for your spouse to take it for real. Don't expect for your girlfriend, your homeboys, your road dogs. Don't expect for them to take it for real. You have to take it for real. You. This is your job. This is your life. Your life. So you have to start looking at those things that stand in your way. So what I did tonight was I compiled this list of 4 things that I feel are important to me. And I know they got to be important to you because you don't want to keep staying where you are. You don't want to keep being in the place that you are. I know you don't. I know you don't. I don't care how great you think you're doing in your life. I don't care how successful you think you're doing in your life right now. If you think that you have arrived, if you think that you have reached, right, that point in life where it's a wrap, that's a problem. There's always room for opportunity. There's always room for growth, especially when it comes to personal growth. Especially. I'm going to go as far as I can go. And if I can't go to where I want to go to in this particular situation, I'm going to move on to another situation where I can go, right, where I'm trying to go. And everybody ain't going with you. Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. Stop trying to take people with you that don't want to go. They go where they at. Leave them there. They have the right to be there. Don't judge them. Because remember, there was a point in time that you were in a place. You were in the place and people was telling you, move on. Move on. But you chose not to. So don't judge them. Don't be judgmental about it. C'est la vie. You have the right to be where you are. I'm out. But you know what? That's easier said than done, isn't it? It's easier said than done. I've done it. I'm going to do it again. We all do it. We all do it. But once you recognize what it is that you're doing, even if you haven't gotten to the core of why you're doing it, right? Once you recognize that, like, listen, this is an issue for my life. This is causing me all kind of heartache. Once you realize it, it's time to do something about it. So I compiled this list. And the first thing that I have on this list, right, is holding on to the unhealthy. Holding on to the unhealthy. Right? It's time to let go. But how? What's unhealthy? And in order to determine what's unhealthy, you have to figure out what's healthy. What is healthy? You know how somebody tells you that they love you and you say you love them back? And then once y'all hook up and things get to moving along, you start saying that what they meant by love is their kind of love and it's not the love that you need. But because you were so much in a rush for immediate gratification, you never built on the foundation. You just kind of went with the love that was offered to you in words and not looking for the action to follow behind that, because you know love is a verb. It's an action word. Love is an action word, right? So when you look at holding on to the unhealthy, what is it that's in your life right now? Think about it. What's in your life right now? I'm not talking about necessarily things outside you, because that's an easy pick. You can easily look at things outside of you and say, yeah, well, that's the problem, and that's the problem. Well, where I live is the problem. Well, who I'm with is the problem. My job is the problem. No, you're the problem. Right? You're the unhealthy one. Because healthy people, right, make healthy decisions. And all of us, in some capacity in our lives, are making unhealthy decisions. Unhealthy decisions. We know they're unhealthy. They know certain people mean us no good. We see all the red flags. We see it. We see the signs. We see the signs. But we turn the blind eye to it. We turn the blind eye to it, and then we don't speak up about it. So part of the unhealthiness maybe is just like not being crass and not being disrespectful and not being uncaring, but speaking to what it is you're feeling about that particular situation. And if you can't, you got to ask yourself why you're not doing it. What is it about you that's keeping you from being honest with that person and saying exactly what it is? Telling them just the way it is. What is it? What is it? I know I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. I don't like hurting people's feelings. But at the end, I get hurt. I get hurt. Because I don't like to hurt somebody else's feelings. And that's why I found myself in so many relationships for such a long time. Because I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to see you hurt. I hate seeing a woman cry. I hate it. I loathe it. I hate seeing a woman upset, broken up. So I stay. So I tolerate it. So I take more stuff on the chin. I do. And a lot of brothers ain't having this kind of dialogue with themselves, let alone having it with someone else, the other brothers, right? You know, this is the kind of conversations that men need to start having. Of how we hang on to stuff that ain't no good for us. And I know, like I said, I know for myself, right? I avoid it, right? I avoid hurting you. I stick with it. I keep putting the Band-Aid on the bullet wound. I keep doing all these things, right, that are unhealthy. They're unhealthy. Because the more I hold on to something that's not good for me, the more I hurt inside. The more I become sick. Yeah. See, what happens is the trauma, right, from previous experiences that are playing out in this current experience begins to play out in your life. And it presents itself on a regular basis. And you don't see the symptoms. You know, like depression, anxiety, agitation, frustration, the smallest things just kind of just make you fall apart. You go into a rage over the smallest things. That's unhealthy. But it's an unhealthy circumstance that you're in that got you feeling that way. But you want to keep holding on to it because you start looking at only the good times. And in many situations, the good times, right, are far outweighed by the bad times. But you just hold on to the good times because that's what instant gratification does. That's what the id of the human being does. It wants what it wants when it wants it, and it doesn't care. It doesn't care. It's inside of you, and it still hurts you. That's what the id does. It hurts you. It hurts the other person. It hurts everybody around you because all it wants is to feel good. That's all it wants. It doesn't care anything about responsibility. That's when your ego and super ego come into play. And if you haven't already, look up Sigmund Freud, psychosocial development of the human being. I forgot what it's the 5 stages of human development, something the psychosocial. I'm in another zone at the moment, but that's what you want to look up. Look up Sigmund Freud and look up the stages of human development, and you'll learn about the id, the ego, and the superego. You'll know exactly what they mean. But the id just wants what it wants, man. It'll run your life to the ground by itself. You don't need help. That's what I'm saying. People say they can do bad by themselves. Yeah, you can. Because you can drive yourself into a ground that you'll never come up out of. And keep blaming everybody around you. It's their fault. They should have done this. They should have done that. And it's you. It's me. It's you. It's me. It's me, it's you. Get it? So you want to look at those kind of things, man. You want to look at why are you not letting these things go? Right? We all have habits. We all have behaviors that we must change. And for whatever reason, we continue to avoid changing them. Right? And again, it goes back to what's healthy. So you first have to get a piece of paper, put a line down the middle of it, and write healthy and unhealthy. And just look at your entire life. Look at your entire life. Whether it's professional, whether it's personal, no matter what it is, look at your life. Whether it's education, whether it's weight management, whatever it is. Do an unhealthy list and do a healthy list, right? And you'll see for yourself. And if you find that unhealthy list, right, is longer than your healthy list, there goes the problem. So if you had that unhealthy list and it's long, so what you need to do, you need to look on the other side. How can you turn this unhealthy condition into a healthy condition? What is the opposite of this circumstance? If bad relationships, right, bad choice of men, bad choice of women is on that unhealthy list, what is on the healthy list? You don't just put over there healthy women or healthy men because you still haven't determined what is a healthy relationship. You haven't determined that yet. So just write a list of all the unhealthy things that you do in your life, right? Don't even get into the fix it aspect of it. Write that list first and just look at that list. Look at that list and then look at your life and you'll see why your life is a mess. You'll see why. It's time to make change, right? So you need to let things go. Just let them go. That's number one on the list, letting go. Number two on that list, getting out of the way. I often, I do, for those of you who know what I do or don't know, I've been working in human services for over 25 years, specifically with males and females transitioning out of state correctional institutions. Since I've been in Florida, I've been on the other side of the fence. I've been on the inside. But my message has always been the same. My message has always been the same. Stop saying that the system is in the way. Stop saying that parole is in the way. Stop saying that Department of Corrections is in the way. Stop saying that my probation officer, all these people are in my way. They're not in your way. You're in your way. You're in your own way. You're in your own way. Get out of your way. And the same holds true in the free world. Get out of your way. You're in the way. You're the one who keeps things going over and over and over again. Right? So take that message too. Now, part of the getting out of the way is inclusive of impeding the growth of others, especially our children. We walk around with all Gucci'd up, Gucci down, Tim this, Versace that, all these name brand things. First of all, damn people don't care nothing about your ass. Nothing. You tell me what Gucci has put into the black community, the Latino community, the Asian community, but specifically the community you live in. What have they given you? What is Gucci giving you? What is anybody giving you? But you keep sporting that brand. You sport that stuff. You run around behind all of these, looking at all these actors, performing artists, and you look at them and you idolize them. You idolize them. You walk around, you go get gear that they get. You go drink what they drink. You do all the things that they do. And part of the hustle is really about being like them. Whatever happened to Mr. Bob that lives down the street? Whatever happened to being like him? The dude who would sit on the porch with his kids and his wife and in the little rocking chair, reading the paper and playing games together and talking. Why is he so unattractive? Why is Miss Mary so unattractive? She does the same thing. She works in the garden. She keeps the house tight. She sweeps out in front of the house. What's wrong? Why is she so unattractive? Why is it always the bling bling, the loud ones that attract you? Ask yourself that. See, everything you're attracted to is part of the unhealthiness, and it's not good for you. It's part of the unhealthiness inside. It's part of your unhealthiness inside. Anybody who knows me, who is close to me, knows I've always been about helping people. It's not about me telling you what to do with your life. It's about understanding where a person is. And I learned some years ago it's better to understand than to be understood. But we spend a lot of time wanting people to understand us, and we never want to understand what's being said to us because we want to be understood. We want to tell somebody why our situation is the way it is. We don't want to listen to the suggestions because you're asking for a suggestion. Then you want to tell how to help you. Yeah, I spent a good part of my life doing that. Good part of my life doing that. For the last 25 years, I've been focusing on something. Listen, I want to understand. I want to understand why things are the way they are with me. Right? When I talk about here impeding the growth of others, right? We get into relationships with other people, no matter what type of relationship it is, if it's romantic, professional, whatever it is, right? But what happens is we want to instruct people how to live their lives better. We want to tell people how they need to do this in order for them to get to a certain place. But they're not asking. They're not asking. They're not. But you keep offering it. You don't offer anything until somebody asks. And then when they ask and you offer it, don't sit back and watch and make sure that they take that information that you gave them They may not. They may still be pondering it. They may still be making an assessment, evaluation of their lives. It's in their pocket. It'll get to the head in a minute when they're ready for it, but let them put it in their pocket. But what happens is, and this has been one of my issues throughout the years of all of my marriages, and it's like I'm always trying to show somebody something different, take people from a place they are to another place, and if they're not asking, if they're not asking to be there, if they're not working on getting themselves there, if they're not putting in the work, right? You can't expect for them to be there. You can't take a person from where they want to be to a place you would like to see them. It doesn't work that way. That's not going to happen. And I spent countless years of my life trying to do that, trying to convince somebody, hey, listen, I'm not that dude. I'm not going to treat you like that. I'm not going to do this to you. I'm not going to do that for you. These are the things that I would like to do for you. These are the things that I have to offer. Then I found myself getting stepped on like a damn doormat, right? But then I stay. I stay. For what? For what? What are you giving me? I'm giving all of this. I done kept every promise. I done kept my word. I done did all the things that I said I was going to do. Never went back on my word. Never went back on my word. And anytime I've ever been, in my marriages, and there's none who can dispute that. I'll go live on television with any of my wives, previous wives, and let them tell you right here with me sitting here, live in front of all of you. Nobody can dispute that. But the problem comes into play is that when I swell up, when I start doing a little chicken head thing, now you got an issue with it. But that's part of the nature. When somebody's not willing to change, when somebody's not willing to do anything different, you need to get to stepping, because you're going to fight that battle forever. You're going to fight that battle forever, guaranteed. And the first thing they're going to tell you is, well, you didn't have a problem with it a year ago. You had a problem with it when you was like up on me. You didn't have a problem then. You didn't have a problem when I was hitting that thing. I was riding that thing. You had a problem then. You didn't have a problem when I let you move in. Oh, you ain't had no problem with that then. Now you got a problem with it. What you see in somebody else? It's like a rabbit hole. It just goes, one thing goes to the next, to the next, to the next. You never bring any resolve to anything, because there's always a laundry list. When you bring up one thing, the laundry list comes out. Why? Excuse me. That's a diversionary tactic to avoid responsibility for my behaviors. That's what that is. That's what that is. But see, when you impede somebody else's growth and development, right? Especially when we're talking about a child now, because see, as adults, we'll take it on the chin as much as we can till we get fed up, then we explode, then we do the whole back and forth thing, for years. We'll do the whole back and forth thing, right? You don't want to see me grow, because if I grow, that means I'm a go. And that's your stuff. Another one of those unhealthy conditions about you. If I grow, I'm going to leave. Not looking at the fact that I'm going to grow anyway. I'm going to grow. Because that's what I told you I was about. That's what I told you that I do. That's who I am. I'm a career person. I'm not a job seeker. I'm a career person. I don't play games. I'm serious about my business. I handle my business. And anybody who's ever been involved with me professionally knows that. I'm about my business. I'll laugh, joke, kiki, bust it up with you all day long. Teach you, train you, make sure you get what I got the way I got it, because people took me under their wing and taught me things, and I learned and I paid attention. Right? But don't do that to people. Don't do that to yourself. But most importantly, when you're talking about children, a lot of times we unintentionally do it to our children. I want my child to have the best. I want my children to go to the best schools. I want my children to have this. I want my children to have that. And I don't want them being around this kind of person. I don't want them, being confused about their sexuality and all kind of other stuff. And you feed that to the child. You feed that to a child. What do you mean? All of us are lawyers in this family. What do you mean you want to Be a basketball player. That's some old typical Negro stuff. Well, you want to be a basketball player. What do you mean you want to play basketball? You need to go to school and get a degree. You know, you want them to talk this way, to walk this way, to act this way, to do it. You want many me's and not looking at you passing on your unhealthiness to the child. You're passing on your unhealthiness to the child. All of us, each one of us has a talent. Each one of us has a skill, right? Each one of us does. Each one of us are individuals. And when you take your child and you put your child in a box, in the me box, because that's what you're doing, your child will never reach their full potential. Yes, children are going to change their mind. They're interested in this right now. Yeah, right now, that's what I'm interested in. They're interested. They start learning all the facets, the ins and outs of what it is that they're interested in. And then they change their mind. They want to do something later. What's wrong with that? Oh, I done put out all this money for you to do this. I done bought all these, tennis rackets and tennis balls and all this, that, the other. Now you don't want to do it no more. And now you hurt. Why are you hurt? They good with it. I just want to learn something else. Right? But you all up in your head. All up in your head. It ain't about you. Work on your own skills. Work on your own development. Work on your own personal growth. Work on your own stuff. That's what you should be doing. But you standing in the way of everybody else's progress because you don't want to grow. Because you don't want to do anything different. Because you don't want to accept the fact that you're stuck. You're stuck. So some people will say, well, listen, I'm good. I got my high school diploma. I got a job. I'm good there, And then when the stuff hit the fans, because it's going to come, it's going to come. Same way it happened to every other degree. Once you got this degree to get this credential, then they upped it. Okay, well, now you got to have this degree in order to get this credential. Back in, 1990, 94, 95, thousands of people lost their jobs who were working in drug and alcohol addiction because then you didn't have to have a degree. You didn't have to have a credential. You just had to have the muscle because that's what it was about. It was about saving lives. And people were good hiring people who were 12-steppers, who were involved in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and all that. And it was good. Oh, the credentials of people are saying, and the money-making people say, whoa, stop. Hold up. There's money to be made here. They're the caretakers. They can be caretakers all they want. We're just offering a program. They got to go to school. These people have to be degreed and licensing, all that stuff tied in, man. Right? Because things had to be paid for. But most importantly, right, they saw that all that good help wasn't always good help. Because of unhealthy conditions, right? You cleaning your life up, you still changing. But some people just get clean and then don't change. You just stop using. And you're killing other people. You're killing the spirit. You're putting people in a different alignment. So it's a whole different venue for that. They call it Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. You go to those venues where they don't have the same liability. But as a professional, you need to have some liabilities. You need to have some responsibility. Right? Codes of conducts, ethical codes, all those things like that. You need to have those things. Right? But if you're good where you're at, don't hurt somebody else who's trying to go somewhere else. Buy your children, get your children those things that they want to have to develop their minds, to develop their skills, so they can be entrepreneurial in thinking. And then decide along the way where they want to go. They may come back to it. I've been drawing all of my life. I still draw. I do pen and ink work. I do hand-painted fashions with acrylic paints on clothing, things like that. I take my artistic talents. I use them in my videos. I use them in a lot of promotional material stuff I do. I still use those things. My mother sent me to school, to vocational school. I took commercial art. I ain't going to tell y'all the story about how, like, I entered, our class entered this contest for this company, and my submission won, and my ass was out cutting class somewhere. My mother whooped my behind because my teacher had to take a picture, take a photograph for the newspaper holding my picture because I was out gallivanting in the street somewhere, right? But I took commercial art. And that commercial art right? That was, you talking about 1976, 1977, 1975. I was taking commercial, 78. I was taking commercial art. And I use it today. I use it today in everything that I do. But because I had that inquisitive mind, right? I was always given different things to do. And every time I sat alone and I was in my head and I had all these thoughts, these dreams, these hopes, these aspirations, right? I always kind of kept them with me. And I've been pursuing them things all my life. And when I made the decision to stop destroying my life with that criminal lifestyle, with that street lifestyle, right? Everything just started coming to fruition, man. So when people are growing there around you and it's a difficult thing for you and because you're afraid they're going to leave you, have that conversation with them. Have that conversation. But get out the way. Get out the way, man. Number 3 on my list. Yeah, we got good time, good time, good time. When opportunity knocks, are you really in alignment? Yeah. Are you really in alignment? You know, it's a lot of us who sit around talking about we should be here, we should have this, we should be going, you know, to this place, to go that place. We should be doing all these things in our life. We should have this. Well, we ain't did a bit of damn work to get it. We think it's like Ed McMahon is going to just knock on our door and say, "You're a winner." Well, it won't be Ed. No disrespect. Forgive me for that. But I'm just saying, like, Publishers Clearinghouse ain't going to knock on your door and give you a check. It ain't happening that way. Right? You ain't going to keep playing numbers and keep playing numbers and keep playing numbers and every day and to think that you putting into the lottery more than you getting from the lottery, where you can be taking that money and putting it into, you know, something for your child, something for your family, right? So are you in alignment? Are you ready for that? Are you studying? If you've gone through your academic studies for your craft, where are your books? Where are they? Oh, you sold them back already because you needed the money. You needed the money for what? Oh, to buy them new Jordans, to buy a pair of jeans, to pay a bill. Yes, oh, I pay bills with my money. Okay, I hear you. But where are those books? You don't have them. What do you subscribe to that's in alignment with your craft, right? I subscribe to SAMHSA, Psychology Today, a whole bunch of other, you know, entities that provide, you know, services that are in alignment with what it is that I do. Because I keep learning. Got to stay on top of all the new stuff, all the new drugs, all the new game that people kicking. You know, you got to stay in touch with, you know, the research, because research is changing all the time. Just think about it. 10 years ago, they said that taking aspirin every day was good for the heart. 10 years later, well, you know, it might not necessarily be true, right? 10 years ago, they told you, well, you know, drinking a glass of milk before bed, right, is good. Warm glass of milk before bed. Then they start finding out all these dead people were lactose intolerant. You know, so you start finding out a whole lot of different things. Things keep changing. And you have to be able to change and adjust with the times, right? But if you're not saturating yourself with that information, plus growing yourself, because that's another aspect of it. Growing yourself. Are you growing? Are you taking that same information that you're internalized to regurgitate to others? Are you living it? Do you believe it? That's part of the difficulty in you helping people, because you don't believe it. You ain't being real about your own life, because it's easy to tell somebody else how to fix theirs. Are you in alignment with the direction that you say that you're going in? Are you? Well, there's another important alignment that'll help you with that, and that's being in alignment with God. And I ain't going to go religious on you. What I'm saying to you is there's a power greater than us all that makes possible what once seemed impossible, right? And you can do whatever it is that you want to do when you get the hell out the way. When you get out of the way. Get out of your way. That's you standing in front of you. Move. Get out the way. Get out the way. Move. You know that. But really, that's really what it comes down to. Get out the way. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Right? Because the opportunity, and you ain't answering the door. You ain't answering the door because you really ain't ready. Or you want to answer the door arrogantly. What? You're only paying $30,000 a year? Man, I'm making 25 now. Why would I go that? Decline. Decline. Right? You got to learn how to negotiate. Right? If you go there, it may only be $5,000 more. Is the workload heavier? Is there room for advancement? Right? Is there room for you to learn more? Sometimes you might have to go to a job that may be paying a little lower in order for you to be able to go up higher. Because that's that opportunity too. That's that opportunity now. Because say, well, listen, we only paying $30,000, and I know you're making 37, but we're paying 30. But here's where you can go. Where you at right now, you're just going to be a counselor. Now, if you want to just be a counselor, that's fine. Nothing wrong with just being a counselor. But if you aspire to be a supervisor, if you aspire to be a director, a division director, a regional director, maybe you want to take a look at going in that direction. And don't just assume because you've been working in the field as a counselor, as a clinician for some years, right, that you deserve to be a supervisor. No. No. No, it doesn't work that way. Ask anybody who's worked with me, who has worked under my leadership. Ask them. I don't take that approach. You're not going to go anywhere. You can't come in here acting hoodish. You can't come in here acting like you don't have any responsibilities. You can't come in here and act like there are no clients' rights. You can't come in here and act like there's no ethical codes. You can't come in here and act like that. You can't. And that's the perspective that I take. That's putting yourself in alignment when you start looking at what's happening in your life. Where are you trying to go? If it's about the paper, is it about the paper today or is it about the paper when you retire? What's it really about? Greed? You understand what I'm saying? So you have to look at everything. Wherever it is that you're trying to go, you can get there. You can get there, but you have to put yourself in alignment. You have to study. You have to commit time to learning and understanding your craft and how these things work. If you think that you can just sit down and start telling somebody how to live life based on your experience, well, your experience is just that. Don't forget about the trauma that resides within you. Don't forget about the filters that you're having discussions with other people, because at the end of the day, these filters are part of your own difficulties that you're either facing, not facing, avoiding, need to get help with. That's when counseling comes into play. But are you putting yourself in alignment? That's what it comes down to. Because when opportunity knocks and you think that you're deserving of something that you haven't even worked for, then you internalize that negatively. And that's another part of your unhealthiness, right? So the key to that number 3 one is listening. Is listening. Listen more. Stop talking so much. Listen to what people are saying and hear what it is that they're saying. But listen and hear what they're saying. I've always been one who trains staff. I've always been one that helps staff understand things. If you don't know, tell me you don't know. I'll help you. I'll help you. But don't be prideful. Don't be haughty and sit back and act like you do know. And then find yourself in a situation where, damn, I done trained 2 different people that came in as counselors, and out of the 2, one of them is my supervisor. How did that happen? The other one that went and moved somewhere else and got a better position somewhere else, and I'm still here. Why am I still here? It goes back to holding on to unhealthy conditions. Unhealthy conditions, holding on to them. The last thing on my list, right, is, and this is a quote. I was facilitating a fatherhood class back in 2013, 2012, and I was just talking, and I was telling people to make every moment a teach you about me moment instead of a tell you about you moment. When you're talking to people and you're in disagreement about a thing, That's not the time to be telling people off. That's not the time to be telling you this and you that. You hear a whole lot of that, right? You hear a whole lot of that. Let a person know about you. When you do this, I feel this way. It's not saying that it's that person's fault. When this happens, this is what happens to me. This is what I go through inside. This is what runs through my mind, right? I'm not telling you that you did something wrong. I'm saying that when you said this, or when you did this, or when you did that, I felt it. It cut through me like a knife, right? And when these things happen to me, I react this way. And again, it goes back to what I was talking about on number one, and holding on to unhealthy. Why do you do that? It's time to look for the core of that difficulty. It's time to look for the core. What is this all about? Why is it when a woman raises her voice at me as a male, right? I despise it. I dislike it so much. And I react to it. Why? And there are a lot of males who had that issue. And much of it comes from being in a female-dominated environment. And people don't understand this. And this is a conversation that I had with clinicians a lot of times. There are a lot of households that are female-led for a variety of reasons, right? We ain't going to go into that. That's a whole nother show. And I did that show already. If you go to my Sabir Alim educational station, you can see that show. But the point that I'm making is that when you are talking to people, people are hearing you through their filters. When people say things back to you, we say things back to a person through our filters. And if our filters are all clogged up with negativity, with our trauma, with our unresolved, with our baggage, if all of those things are clogging up our filters, right, disabling our ability to be rational and thinking, we're going to keep having the same outcome in every relationship we enter into. I don't care how many different people you try. I don't care if you try different races. I don't care if you try different ethnic backgrounds. I don't care what it is you try. You always take you with you. And until you clean them filters out and you start looking at yourself for real, and you start looking at, who you really are. You ever have a person that you know who I am? And know what my response is? Do you know who you are? It's not important that I know who you are. Do you know who you are? Because that's what it really comes down to. A lot of people are not comfortable in their skin because of their internal stuff. It has nothing to do with their physical appearance. Well, let me change that. It does. But the burden, the most burdensome aspect of self is on the inside. It's the inside stuff. So don't tell a person about themselves. What you said this to me, and I felt disrespected by it, so on and so forth. Okay, you may have felt disrespected about it. I apologize for being disrespectful through your eyes, right? And I may have very well been. Let me tell you what went on inside of me. Right? This is what went on inside of me. This is what I felt when you were talking to me, when you said such and such. It's not justifying why I did what I did, but I'm telling you the reason. Because every reason is not a justification. It's a reason. It's a reason. So I reacted to you in this way. I apologize for that because it was disrespectful of you. And that was not my intent. And I apologize for that. And now you both begin to look at each other and say, well, yeah, well, I could have said what I said better. Yeah, that was below the belt. Now you're having positive dialogue. But when you start going at somebody because they said something, or did something that you didn't like it. You didn't like it. I hate when people double park in front of a damn parking space. What you gonna do? You gonna sit behind the car, blow the horn, get out. Yo, man, can you move? What's wrong with pulling up next to him and say, my man, can I get that spot? And you holding it for somebody. If he looked at you, man, go ahead, Negro. My man, I'm going to keep it moving. Because the next words that come out of my mouth are not going to be nice. Right? I'm not going to be nice. If I'm in the mode of unhealthiness, I'm like, yo, it's cool, bro. I was just trying to get somewhere to park. I'm at. And keep it moving. Right? And that's the same way in any other kind of relationship. You know, we beat things till they're dead. We beat that horse dead, and then we bring it back to life, and then beat it dead again, and then bring it back to life and beat it dead again. There's no need for it. There's no need for it. And again, we can talk to each other with the highest of respect. We can disagree. Don't have to be disagreeable. That's the most important thing that I can give you, from this show, right? That there's a lot of work to be done in our communities. Violence is just escalating. It's not getting any better, right? But the violence in the homes, that has to stop because it's trickling down into the streets. How we talk to one another, how we talk to, how you talk to your child's mother, right? Disrespecting her and calling her outside of her name because you're just angry because she with somebody else hitting that thing. You mad now. So now you want to come at dude, you want to come at her, you want to take it out on the kids, you want to go through all that. Women do the same thing. We're both doing the same thing to one another. The relationship is over. Why are you carrying that weight? We all do it. I did it for years. I had a brother tell me, he said, well, Sabir, you can't just like go step into everybody that she sees. Ain't. What you gonna do? You can't knock everybody. Eventually somebody gonna knock your ass out. Then what? You can't keep stepping to people. Somebody gonna eventually step to you. Like, what do you want? And then the reality of the fact was that, like, we're parents. And we lose sight of parents and parenthood when the romantic relationship fails. We lose sight of that. We're still angry about the failed romantic relationship, and we never develop together as parents. We never develop as parents individually. We never establish how we're going to do things together because we thought we were going to be together forever. Well, it's always a possibility that you're not. But you're still mom, and I'm still dad. And when I learned to stop calling, my children's mother outside of her name, when I started disconnecting those buttons that would trigger me, my stuff, not her stuff, but I started disconnecting those buttons because I started realizing that I did have control over that button panel. I disconnected that one. When it came up again, click. Next one, click. And then I started getting my filters unclogged, and I began to see things through a different light and how I need to approach things differently. We have to take a different approach in this coming year. We have to take a different approach to things, and we have to realize that we are in full control of our lives. Other than that which God does. We need to keep making plans, but we need to keep carrying out the plan. Stop putting too many things on your damn table. Stop putting too many things on your list. What do you need to do first? What is the most burdensome, most unhealthy thing that you need to take care of first? And I'm going to tell you to do one thing at a time. I'm telling you, look at the thing that's most heaviest upon you. Look at the thing that's been holding you back from making the decision to move on from that relationship. Look at the thing that's holding you back that has been keeping you from going to school, from moving from where you live. All those things. Look at the most burdensome thing. The more things that are unhealthy that you remove, the greater lens you have of life. Y'all have a great and wonderful evening. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New You, most importantly, because that's what this should be celebrating. Happy New You. Peace.